Okay, let us relook our previous lecture. Then we have started our discussion with one problem where the minimum RPM and maximum RPM required from gearbox was given. It was given that we need to select geometric progression ratio as per our code series and motor RPMs are given, right? So using this, we have found we can go up to 8, the total 6 number of speeds from gearbox, right? And then we have seen all possible structure equations. So these are the possible structure equations. Now, then we have drawn two structure diagrams. This is structure diagram 1 for this equation, and this is structure diagram B for this second equation. And then we have seen that in structure diagram A, overall transmission ratio of phase 2, that is approximately 10, which is greater than 8. So as per the guidelines, we cannot go beyond 8, overall transmission ratio as 8. So that's why we have dropped this A structure diagram and we move to second structure diagram where we are getting overall transmission ratio in phase 2 as 5.68, which is less than 8, right? So we have selected this structure diagram, and after that we have drawn this ray diagram. So ray diagram, what is use of ray diagram? Using ray diagram, now we get actual speed of individual gear. So this is the speed from individual gear available, right? And then after we have drawn this ray diagram, and then we got one suggestion that if you look, then in last stage this reduction is 5:3. If we find out that reduction 5:3, then we are getting here 0.18. That reduction speed is 0.18, which is less than 1/4. So as per the criteria, sub-criteria, like overall transmission ratio should be 8, but this 8 we got based on two sub-criteria, right? One sub-criteria is increase in speed should not more than 2 and reduction in speed should not less than 1/2. So here in this ray diagram, we are getting 0.18 reduction in the second stage or the last stage of gearbox. So which is less than 0.25. So as per the suggestion, we have dropped this and we move on next possible ray diagram where we have taken reduction of 5:2 and increase in speed 5:1. So this is the second ray diagram. But I would like to make one comment on this. If we drop this ray diagram and if we move to this ray diagram, then if you look this node point, which was right side diagram, it is it's C15 RPM. If we use this diagram, then this node is shift to 180 RPM. Now, as we know, if you move lower RPM more and more down, then diameter of this shaft will keep on increasing. So if we compare, again if I just give me, this is suppose diagram A and this is diagram B, then in diagram A, diameter of shaft DA will be greater compared to diagram B, this shaft 2. I'm talking about this shaft 2, right? Here also shaft 2. So in that way, this diagram is having some restriction, but as if you look, why we move to diagram A? Because we are getting that reduction in speed ratio that is 0.18, which is less than 0.25. But if you look, if as per the guideline, anyhow, we need to manage overall transmission ratio as 8, right? So if we use this diagram, then we are maintaining overall ratio less than 8. Means if you find out 5 is to 3, if you go for 5 is to 3, then that is less than 8, right? So in that way, it is better to go for diagram B, not for diagram A. The reason is, if we use diagram A, then the second shaft diameter is large compared to this second shaft in diagram B. So in that way, we need to go for diagram B only, not in diagram A, because we need to take care of overall transmission ratio. So we are having this within the range. This diagram B, overall transmission ratio that is less than 8, so that is still within range. So better to go for B. Now, if you have any comment over this, then you are free to give your comment. So is it fine now? So now we are selecting diagram B only. We are not going for diagram A because shaft diameter is increased. And still we are within overall transmission range A. So that's why we are selecting B in general. Right? Okay, so this is what I want to address. Then after, in previous session, we have discussed about some guidelines for gearbox layout. So the first guideline is how to start deciding what are the number of keys on individual gears of gearbox, right? So we need to start with a pinion, means in entire gearbox, need to identify which gear is having a less number of keys, right? This pinion is having less diameter, means smallest diameter, that we need to identify, and that we can easily identify actually. If you look this ray diagram, then in ray diagram we are getting different RPMs, right? So if we use this, then this line is indicating maximum possible reduction in speed, right? So let me draw, first of all, let me draw one structure layout for this ray diagram. So that will make us more clear idea. So I am reorienting in this structure diagram. I hope it is visible properly. Okay, so let me draw now structure layout, gearbox structure layout based on this ray diagram. So first of all, this I say it's a motor shaft. Then from motor shaft, next we have input shaft. So let me write here, this is motor shaft. This is input shaft 1. Then let me draw now here. So from this to this input shaft, power is transmitted to base drive. So let me draw one base drive here. So these blocks are indicating pulley actually, right? And then we consider one base, right? And motor RPM is 1440. This is what given. Now, if you look in first stage, we are getting 3 seats, right? This red one, black one, and this brown one, right? So we need to go for one gear cluster, which will give us 3 different speeds. Now, as per our previous discussion, input shaft should be a solid shaft. It should not be a spline shaft, right? So where we are putting gear cluster, that we need to consider as a spline shaft. So here I am keeping solid shaft, and intermediate shaft I'll take as a spline shaft. So this is the intermediate shaft. Now I consider one gear cluster here. Now maximum reduction is available, which is indicated by this red color line, right? So let me use color code here. So maximum reduction we are getting using red line. So on the output shaft, because for stage 1, this is input shaft and this is output shaft for stage 1, right? So we want reduction in speed, right? So that's why I need to consider this red color gear with large diameter because we want reduction in speed, right? So this is one gear cluster, one gear of particular gear cluster. Then we have black one. So let me indicate here black color, and this brown one is here, right? Now let me give number. This I call gear 1 dash. This is let me give this as a 3 dash. This is 1 dash and this is 2 dash, right? Now this red combination that is giving us reduction, right? So here this is gear 3. Let me use the page. Again I am going. This is motor, input shaft. I consider pulley and then wheel, right? Now again I am going. So from input shaft we have 3 gears. This red color gear that is with smallest diameter. Let me call this as a 3. Then we have this brown here with more diameter. The reason behind selection of large block size that we will see, and this black is having diameter in between 3 and 2, right? This is also 2. Now I'm considering one gear cluster because I want maximum reduction, and this brown gear is giving me same speed, right? If you look here, it is giving me same speed. So this gear pair is giving me same speed. So that's why I need to consider same diameter of gear, approximately same diameter of gear on both input and output shaft, right? So that I'm writing here, and then this I call shaft 2. Right? Now, after this, next is this C. Then for C, I need to consider large diameter because we want reduction using this C, right? So I call this is my 3 dash here, right? And then lastly, I just relocate this gear 1. This is gear 1. I'm relocating this gear 1. No, no.
सर गियर 1 अगर वहां पे लेके तो शिफ्ट नहीं होगा ना फिर?
Yeah. We are keeping at same location. Gear 1 is here as it is. Now, diameter is equal to this, right? So this is 1 dash, this is 2 dash, and this is 3 dash. So this is what we can say one group. This is stage 1, right? So if we engage this two dash, then we get same speed, which is indicated here by this brown line, right? Similarly, if we engage this rate means 3 and 3 dash, then we get large reduction, right? And now if we engage 1 dash and 1, then we get moderate reduction, means it is in between these two speeds, right? So this is what arrangement for stage 1, gearbox arrangement for stage 1. Now let us draw next stage. So for next stage, we need to go, because if you see in this diagram, two lines are there from each node, right? So two lines are there. That's why we need to go for two gear sets. So now I need to consider one gear cluster with two gears, right? So for that, now I am considering, see, one another guideline that we will see later, but I would like to address it at this moment. If it is here, now if you slide this gear cluster for engagement of T3 dash, now this space remains vacant, right? So let us utilize this space. Okay, so now I am placing one gear cluster on right side of this gear cluster, right? And this gear cluster is now having two numbers of gears to get two different RPMs, which are given in this ray diagram. Okay, now again, if you look this blue color line, then we are getting no reduction. Straight away we are getting same speed, right? So that's why for getting same speed, I need to consider same diameters of input and output gears, right? So now I'm drawing one gear cluster, but it should be a large than 3 dash, right? This is again, this is approximation. It is just giving you idea about gear arrangement, right? At this moment, we are not finalized what is the diameter, but I'm just trying to correlate properly. So this is I call 4 input gear, and now we want reduction. So I consider one gear with less diameter compared to this 4. And now I call this as 5. Okay. Now, if I want same speed, then I need to consider same diameter of gear on output shaft as well, right? So this is shaft 3, and this gear is now fixed. Okay, and I draw now one another gear, pink color gear. This large diameter compared to this 4 dash. So this is 5 dash. and this is also 6, right? So this we can say, if I engage 4, 4 dash, and if you consider D4 and D4 dash as same, both are equal, then we get same speed here, this line. But if I engage 5, 5 dash, then I get reduction of 5 dash to 3. If I engage 5, 5 dash, then this diameter is 5 dash diameter is large compared to 5, so we get reduction. So this is a rough idea about gearbox arrangement. This will help us. So now I'm just making border of it. Right? So this is gearbox arrangement for this ray diagram. Okay? So now let's move further. So this ray diagram, based on ray diagram now, we get rough idea about, based on this ray diagram, we get rough idea about the diameters of gear, but now we are interested to find out number of feet and exact diameters of gear. But if you look, this is giving us actual speed of different gear pairs. For example, if I follow this brown line, then this line, then what would be the speed? 1000 RPM, right? If I use this black pair, then what would be the speed? 560 RPM. If I use this red pair, then what would be the RPM? 315 RPM, right? So ray diagram is actually giving us information of each and every gear speed, right? So the speed information is now available with us. Previously, structure diagram was unable to give us this detail, but now this is giving us speed. Okay. So from this now, if you look our first diagram, we need to identify pinion. Now looking to this, will you say which is the pinion in this gear? So how many gears first of all are used in this arrangement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pairs. So 5 is the 2. So 10 pairs are used, right? So sorry, 10 number of gears are used. Then which gear out of 10 is of smallest diameter? Yes. If you look this diagram, then which gear is of smallest diameter? It's a 3. We can see based on this arrangement. So 3, gear 3 will be having 18 number of feet, right? So we start design of this gearbox from gear 3. So our first step is to determine pinion from this entire gearbox and decide 18 number of feet for that pinion, right? So this is one guideline. Now second guideline is, this is what we discussed in previous session, sum of number of feet on gear pair for parallel shafts should be same. Means sum of Z1, Z2 dash, Z2, Z3 dash, and Z1, Z1 dash. If you add this all, then they should be same. This is what we discussed. So this is constant, right? Now we are moving further. So I call, this is our equation A. I call this is our equation A. And now I form, because from ray diagram we already know what is U1. If I again open ray diagram, then What is U1? Suppose if I call this as U1, then it's 5:1. This is, sorry, this is 1 only. This is 5:1. This is 5:2, right? So using Ray diagram, we already know what is the progression or the speed ratio, right? So speed ratio and teeth ratio, gear teeth ratio, that is inverse. So that's why from Ray diagram, speed ratio, we already know what is the value of number of teeth ratio, right? This is U2. Similarly, Z3 dash by Z3 is equal to U3. So this I call equation B, right? So using these two equations now, we already know value of pinion. So out of this all three gears, Z1, Z1 dash, these are indicating number of teeth, right? So any one Z value is known to us, right? And we also know this ratio from Ray diagram. So using these two equations, now we can find out number of teeth on individual gears, right? We'll also try to understand this by solving one numerical, one design problem. So at that time you get better skills. But right now I'm just discussing how these equations will be helpful to us. Okay. Now, if you find this ratio, then this ratio is there in fraction. Means if you solve this A and B, then you will get this Z values in fraction. But Z is what? Number of teeth on particular gear, numbers of teeth on particular gear. Now, if you solve these two equations, you will get this Z in fraction. Now, Z cannot be in fraction. It should be a integer value, right? Fraction base value. So that's why we need to do some round off. This is required to be round off. Now, if you do round off, then ultimately if Z1 dash and Z1, they are in fraction. But if you do round off, and then if you find ratio, then what happens? Your U1 value will change or gear ratio will change. If gear ratio change, then speed available from gears will change. So this is the issue. So it is difficult or rather impossible to get design RPM practically, right? So that's why our third guideline is to check percentage deviation of actual and theoretical speed, right? So this deviation we need to check. And what is the permissible limit for that? So percentage change in speed delta n is equal to actual speed which we want, the actual speed which we get after round off, and n theoretical which was decided at design stage divided by n theoretical into 100. So this is how you can find out percentage deviation in speed, right? So this should be less than to plus or minus 10 times phi minus 1. This is the condition, right? This percentage delta n should be less than plus or minus 10 times phi minus 1, right? So this is our third guideline. Now we move to the next guideline. So next guideline, I say 4, which is difference between number of teeth of two adjacent gears. In sliding test, in sliding gear cluster, should be greater than equal to 4, should be greater than or equals to 4. Okay? Now, what is the meaning of this statement? If you consider this sliding cluster, then difference of number of teeth means to call this as a Z4, number of teeth Z4, and if I call this Z5, right, then Z4 minus Z5 should be greater than equals to 4, right? How? So let us see that why this condition or why this guideline is given. So to understand that, let us consider one gear cluster which is the same which we have drawn. Let me take reference of that only. So we take reference of this. We have gear cluster of 3 gears. So if I write Berengen diameter equation, then for gear 1 and gear 1 dash and gear 2 dash, then let me write, just consider this gear cluster. By considering that gear cluster, if I write equation of Biggendum, then BA1 dash is nothing but B1 dash plus 2 times module, right? This is what the Biggendum is actually. So B1 dash is indicating sheet circle diameter and 1 module is for addendum. So 2 times module, that is addendum diameter, right? Now we can write this in terms of number of teeth. So Z1 dash plus 2m. Let us take module common. So this is for 1 gear. Similarly, if I write for B3 dash, BA3 dash, then B3 dash plus 2 times module, I'm talking about this rate gear, is equals to MZ3 dash plus 2M, then it's sorry, here Z dash, so here Z3 dash plus 2M, right? Now, to avoid, if you look, whenever I slide, means if you just consider this 3 and 3 dash, they are engaged. But now if I want to engage 2 and 2 dash, and if I slide this gear cluster towards right, then at that time, this 1 dash should not interfere with gear 3. I hope this is visible. If I slide this gear cluster to engage 2 dash, at that time C and C dash that will disengage, but this 1 dash, gear 1 dash, that will go through this C. So at that time, 1 dash and C, they should not interfere, right? So with that condition, we can say BA1 means the radial circle of this gear C and the radial circle of this 1 dash should be less than equal to the center distance. If I call this as a center distance A, if I call this as a center distance A, right, then BA, when I slide this, then BA1 dash with this gear addendum plus this gear addendum BA3 and half of that. That means center of radius of both the gears. Sum of radius of both the gears should be less than or equals to center distance A between two shafts. I hope it is clear, right? So with this condition now, if again I write this BA dash in terms of number of feet from this equation, then I can say it's n z1 dash plus 2. We have assumed same module again for for all these gears, right? So we assume same module here. Now plus for this BA3, what will be the equation? M Z3 plus 2 by 2 less than equals to 8, right? Now, if after getting this equation, now if I write equation of center distance in terms of, this is what the condition to avoid interference. Now if I write what is the A then? What is the value of A based on this C and C dash here, right? So A is nothing but equals to n Z3 plus Z3 dash by 2, right? So let us put this A here. So if we do that, then let me rewrite this equation n z1 dash plus 2 plus n z3 plus 2 divided by 2 less than equals to, now this A, small a is nothing but n z3 plus z3 dash by 2. Now what you need to do, just simply, if you try to solve this equation, then you will get z3 dash minus z1 dash greater than equals to 4. Just I'm leaving on you all, just try to solve this equation. You will get z3 dash minus z1 dash greater than equals to 4. So this is what our condition. Difference between number of feet of two adjacent gears in sliding gear cluster should be greater than or equal to 4. So if you see in this gear cluster, 1 dash and 3 dash, these are the adjacent gears of this gear cluster. Then difference between these two should be greater than equal to 4. Then and then, whenever you slide gear cluster, They will not obstacle with each other, right? So I hope this condition is clear. Now, the next condition is, let me show the condition within this diagram. Next condition is, if we assume width of both the gears is suppose B, for example, width of both the gears, these two gears is B. When you disengage 4 and 4 dash, and if you try to engage 5, 5 dash, then at that time, when you do that, at that time, when 5, 5 dash start engaging, at that time, 4, 4 dash should be disengaged completely. Right? Otherwise, what happens, because both the gears they are rotating with different RPMs, right? So it is not possible to rotate shaft with the combined speed, right? So for that, the condition is this gap. If I call this gap as L, then L should be greater than 2 times B. If this is B1 and B2, then it should be greater than B1 plus B2, like that. Yeah, so this is our final guideline as per the layout, as per the gearbox layout. So this should be greater than this should be greater than 2B. There's a gap between here. Same is applicable to here as well. Then this gap should be greater than 2 times B. If both are having same width. Here also, this gap should be 2 times width of both the gears, right? Right? So I hope it is clear. Now, if you have any doubt, any question, then you can ask. You are free to ask. In next lecture, we'll try to solve one problem using all the guidelines which we have discussed so far in gearbox design. So now, finally, we'll determine number of teeth and diameters of gears using this knowledge of structure diagram, ray diagram, and all the guidelines which we have discussed so far. So now if you have any question, any query, then you are free to ask.